I got asked a real good question. What would have happened if Janet Jackson had to work with Ellie and Babyface? Would it have hit? Would it have worked? Hmm, that's a real good question. Could Janet Jackson have hit with Ellie and Babyface? Now, who is comparable that they work with vocally? Probably Pebbles. Give me the benefit of the doubt. Could I sing Janet Jackson singing Love Will Make Things Happen with Babyface? Hmm. You know, the Jackson brothers did do Nothing Compares to You, which was a hit. Jermaine Jackson worked with LaFace. Obviously, you know the infamous Word to the Bad. Michael did later work with Babyface on a couple projects, you know, and of course with 3T. So yeah, a couple projects he did with Babyface. But what would have happened if Janet had done it? Could it have worked? You know, the way Babyface wrote hit songs for female artists and Taylor made them, obviously with Toni Braxton, Karen White, who somehow has been whiteballed by that whole thing. That's interesting. Pebbles, as I mentioned, obviously TLC. You could see, could you imagine Janet Jackson singing Baby, Baby, Baby or Red Light Special or singing, some of those songs that were big hits that they did for them? Could you imagine that? It's interesting because it's one of those what ifs, what have happened. And I'm just taking the time to, it's like, what would have happened if that had come to pass? Could it have made a difference? Would it have been a different trajectory? Obviously, she had a big time hit with Jam and Lewis, career albums, etc. But could she have made it with Alan Babyface? Alan Babyface did work with Paula Abdul on a song for her debut album. And that's when Paula Abdul was choreographing things for Janet Jackson. So you just never know how these things go. But what might have been if they had to work together? And what kind of material? And when you think back to the hits that LA and Babyface had working with female artists, where would Janet Jackson have been in the middle of it? What do you think? How do you think it would have came off? What do you think it would have sounded like? Do you think it would have been a classic song? Do you think it would have been, where you come down with it? It's a great question. It's something to think about and ponder, in one of those strange what ifs and what could have been. And just got me thinking about it because some of the songs, fast, slow in between, the remixes, the versions, what would it have been like, And what era would it have hit in? Because Alan Babyface hit in 87, Jam and Lewis had hit already. So would they've had material enough to kind of bring